Impossible. Unreachable. Classical.
Oh my god. Hello. Well,
Gotta take the ice off.
take the ice off, do your warm-ups. Yay!
Yeah, she would do that at the basketball games. For
That's a
her
peacock.
sons.
That's a peacock? Or
No, the peacocks are like, oh no! Oh! I feel like it's a little.
but there's another.
Yeah.
Hi. This is QWEENJD, violinist, producer extraordinaire, and chosen family.
Chosen people. What?
Chosen family. And I'm Phil. You might have seen me, trying sour candy or making garment videos. But
That's true.
the topic is midlife crisis. What says midlife crisis more than starting a podcast? So here we are. I'm 38. You just turned 40. And
Nice round number.
we are just some post-classical,
Post-perfectionist.
post-perfectionists, falling into perfection. People fall into people say they have talent. You naturally fall into consistency is really easy for you. And consistency, I think I realized that I've never had the consistency to. I've never had the consistency.
To stay
But-
with classical flute.
To stay with classical flute, yeah.
Oh.
I think I've gotten to good.
Consistency is a very interesting concept. It's very wrapped up in perfectionism, right? It's
But it's
I have to. I mean, doing the audition circuit because I was a total audition jock
Uh-huh.
for a nice chunk of life. Few years running laps, playing Don Juan with your heart rate in your throat.
Do you like playing excerpts over and over, the same 5-10 excerpts,
Listen.
over and over ad nauseum?
Well, I mean, what is a musical? But
What is a musical?
Look.
That's another
act of
topic.
The act of performing a musical is you play the same number of notes over
Okay.
and over and over again. The repetition does not bother me. No.
But when the repetition being
I liked
a few bars.
I
8
liked
bars,
the jock aspect of it, where it was you
Jock?
jock, yeah, where you're
Sporty.
oh yeah. I loved sitting next to the basketball players on the airplane and telling them about my sport, and talking about it that way, where I was a really fit talent, and I had to stay in shape.
And that's how you sold it to other people.
Absolutely, it felt more relatable, than because I think most people are just why do violinists exist?
Yeah, that's I know.
And I can't help but
I think
I have to ask myself the same thing.
There's definitely I think that's a minority. I definitely think people understand why the violin exists.
Oh.
I mean, just for music's sake.
Sure.
For music's sake,
Yeah.
no one needs to and that's one of the most famous instruments. So
Right.
I thought you got unlucky with that situation because I think most people are
Sure, there's
That's
a lot.
beautiful, that's
no.
cool.
I've done my market research. Listen, I've toured, I've traveled, I've
Yeah.
talked to lots of random people who have nothing to do with the world of
Speaking of
classical
tour,
music.
we met. Actually, no, we a little okay. I hate listing resumes, but we met playing
Radio
the-
City.
what it's officially called. Was it?
The Rockettes Christmas Spectacular.
Yeah, it's the Radio City Rockettes Christmas Spectacular featuring the Rockettes. I think it's
Really?
something like that. Yeah, it's
Oh my
long
God.
as it.
Brand,
You call it I call it Radio City. You just call it the Rock. You call it Rockettes.
Rockettes.
You
We played
feminized
Rockettes.
it.
Yeah.
So we played Christmas.
Our
Christmas,
legs are long. We got the gig.
Christmas craziness. Our legs are long, and our limbs are. Our limbs are long.
Squeeze it into the band card.
We are,
right?
I'm on the other side. I was playing oboe, the oboe doubling
Yeah.
for that.
In the
And,
locker room.
but I could see you from where you were playing on that band car.
Sure, it's not that big. You're talk about it. You're playing the same thing over and over again. You have to find the right people to make eye contact with during the same rests. There's sort of a routine about it. I think the people who've been there the longest and are, by that measure, the most successful at that gig got really good at that. Just being Oh, hey, same joke today. Oh, hey, same moment. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very groundhog.
There's always like a
Groundhog Day.
there's monotony. I think to like every gig.
I know.
Every gig or every like any work.
It made me start looking for trouble, and that's when I had to go. I was like, I can't help it. I need something to play with, you know. Right.
Have you been called the world's cuntiest violinist?
I was, and I was like, oh, I have no idea if that.
What was the context?
We were in P-Town. We were in a gay moment. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. It was another violinist who studied with the same teacher as me, who's also queer. And I was not out in college, so I don't have the experience of camaraderie with queers from anything in middle school, anything in high school, anything in college, none of that. I wasn't swimming in those waters. I wasn't looking those people in the eye necessarily, in that way where you're like, hi. You know, you look back and you go, oh yeah, that was there. But so I think it was like,
because did something happen, or you were just like, oh, was it a joke, or was it like, you are world's cuntiest violinist, or they were like,
it was said in absolute worship and love.
You are world's cuntiest violinist,
and I think that's where I think there's an energy and an ego and a personality that's all wrapped up in that. That's like tied intricately around the entire persona.
It's an aura
of like holding the thing that makes that sound, and the type of person that becomes deeply involved with that. But I think it's like I said, I would not have used the word cunt. I remember the first time I heard the word cunt used in college.
That's a performance aura.
It is.
And,
yeah, but nobody used it to describe me for a long time. But they could have.
It's your and Cynthia Erivo of Everything fame.
She does.
Met you on a gig or at a party?
No, honey. We were shopping on Fifth Avenue.
Oh, okay. And well, I think
very decontextualized, but she.
How I hear the story was like couldn't stop following you, and she was like, I love your aura.
Yeah, I was watching you in there, and I just love your aura. I just love your aura. You know, and you're like,
get into it. But and then we also met doing 1776. The Broadway revival tour, 6-month tour. That
she was cute.
It was a financially good decision for me. I love going on tour, but yeah.
Tour is great. I did 3 years touring with Aladdin, the Broadway musical, and I loved that time of my life. It was very like.
It's fun.
It's fun.
You can be slutty. You can eat slutty.
You're detached.
And with that contract, you don't have to. You have single occupancy rooms. You're not sharing a room. You're not sharing a room, so you can be.
I mean, we could take the cash and go get an Airbnb. I mean, there was a lot. You could stay with grandma. Like
Airbnb is so.
It was a lot of flexibility, a lot of fun. It was kind of like a moment of coming into. I mean, theater's so much gayer. I think that was another fun thing. I was just like, wow, I'm surrounded. Love this. And
that was a really gay tour.
It was a real gay tour. Yeah. With that big, beautiful like male cast, and they were all but like 2 of them were gay, and they were.
Oh, you're talking about Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Oh,
yeah,
I know. 1776 was also.
Height.
Yeah.
They were all my height, so I was just right with all the boys, and I was.
I haven't been on. I haven't been on a tour with a lot of boys. It's always been.
Yeah, 1776 lesbian, was not that.
1776 was like Lady Queer, and Falsettos was like just like a small cast, and they were all booed up.
Dangerous.
I mean, not that like necessarily means anything, but you know, it was an adult like mature space. And then Fun Home again, lesbians.
Lesbians, yeah, you've been around a lot of lesbians.
Lesbians,
I think
kids.
that's where Phil and I discovered that we're more or less the same gender.
There you go. We are just one of the same.
I fell into theater. Graduating from where I went to college, theater as like a professional option was never discussed or presented to me. It was not on my radar. I just didn't know it was a thing and that it existed. Not really. And then I was doing my audition jock shit while I did regional orchestras, and I got the last major professional audition I took was actually in my hometown. And I was vividly like, oh, I actually really don't want to do this at all, and maybe that's my whole problem.
So I definitely had more of like
maybe that's my whole.
I had an interest in musical theater at some point in my like.
Yeah,
time.
no, it would have been a new world, and I had spent a lot of time avoiding it. Like in high school, I refused.
Yeah,
to
like
play
sometimes
it.
you just like don't get into it, and I think I had friends, people that got me into like musical theater.
Yeah, I was deeply snobby about that in high school, and then, but I got a gig at a Gunquit Playhouse, and that's how I met the music director for the Aladdin tour, and it was such a great time because the Gunquit is gay again, and I brought.
Gunquit's gay. Everything's gay.
I brought my gay bestie. We were there for.
Why everything gotta be gay?
I just, you know.
Why everything gotta be gay?
Why? I don't know. It's just I am drawn to it. And yeah, we had a gay all time, and I was just like, wow, I can't believe I get to do this for a month on a beach in a gay place, and I just played the shit out of it for no other reason than joy.
And compared to like a lot of classical gigs, it pays.
She pays.
On average better.
Yeah,
definitely on average better.
Does. To me, it was more like the mixture of, like, the transaction felt cleaner. It's commercial music. It exists to make money. And if it doesn't make money, it won't exist, right? The shows will close, blah, blah, blah. So, and yes, people are expressing themselves in its art and all of that, but there is, like, this very clear and overt commercial goal.
Yeah.
And in classical music, it too must exist in an economy, and there is a lot of class involved with it, and but the story of the transaction was very muddled in terms of like how much expression I can actually, like, do I get to express myself? Am I an artist? Is this a product? And all of those things just felt really confusing to me, and so that's another reason I found theater to just be like, oh, what a relief, you know.
To just work.
Yeah, to just work.
Right.
Do a job.
Right, and
just do a job.
And that's.
I maybe with Radio City and all of that, I like went too far into that extreme and like away from an artistry, but I also just was like, I went to a trade school and I learned a trade, and I'm going to do my trade.
Right.
And make money off of my trade.
And that's why I kind of started doubling, because like there was a point where I was like, I know I'm not going to be consistent enough in my auditions, and I like musical theater, so why not learn a few other instruments?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how I know. And then I moved to New York City, baby, and I met some people who were kind enough to share work with me. And,
right.
And so auditions,
yeah, are
not so much a thing.
Right.
But the topic is midlife crisis. So
it's okay.
So but there's it connects. Right? So that's where we are. I still enjoy playing theater in general. Not so much like I enjoy like having my own show just because it's a more relaxed environment, obviously. And so I forget that I can enjoy and still really love play. I love playing, there's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But
what's the midlife crisis about then?
Well, I think for some reason, when you mentioned how, like, performing, like, that there's a paywall to performing, like, obviously, like, I knew that, but I think just you saying that can, like, actualize things in your brain, or just, at least in my brain, when, like, you just say, you, like, think about the sentence, and you're like, oh.
What do you mean by paywall?
You're just, like a ceiling. There's just, like, a pay ceiling. Like, you could have a show full-time on Broadway and make, like, a comfortable living and be happy with that. Forever. Mm-hmm. Especially if you were fortunate to jump from show to show or stay on a long ass show. But I wanted more. I want a little more.
You want a little more money.
A little more. I want more money. I don't know, or just like even as like a physical pursuit. Like I wanted like I've been enjoying doing my sewing. I don't know. Yeah, I wanted more money. I want more money. I have some other like
And isn't that like the warning they give you going to music school? They're like, honey, if you want some money, this is not the place to be hanging your hat.
And like, but again, like I think I just want even more is what I think. Like I could definitely be like, you know, in this.
Cute. We're gonna put like Little Mermaid.
I don't know.
Right?
Please, sir. Can I have some more?
Yeah. How much begging does it involve?
But maybe that New York just does that. Maybe I've been like fortunate enough to like be so close to like making my dreams come true. Because essentially, like I've lived my dream job on tour.
Yeah.
And so, but then that's it. Like when I do live my dream job on tour, that's like a 25-hour work week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I do with the rest of that time?
Yeah.
I could start a business. I could sew shit.
Very ambitious. I don't know if you've got onto that.
I'm post musically ambitious.
Yeah, she's ambitious about a lot.
Even post classical, post music. I'm post. Yeah.
Just post.
I don't know. I'm always trying to evolve. I guess because
yeah,
that's what chases my midlife crisis, and that's what feeds the midlife. Let's talk about the first time I ever heard of what a midlife crisis was I was actually quite young. Okay. I was probably between like 7 and 10, and my mom would always say, because she would always talk about it in reference to my dad. My mom would be like, he's having a midlife crisis because of course he married like my babysitter or someone 16 years younger than
a really classic like
16 years younger than his junior, yeah. And or like buying a new car, but it's
true. That's typically what you would say.
And for the working person, like have a 9 to 5, you know, such job. Like if you're doing that, you're married, you got your kids, and you're doing what you need to be doing, and you've been doing, say from 25 to 35, and you've been doing what you need to do. But where do you go up from there? And so for them, it's like, oh, I'm stuck with doing this. Like either like personally, you can make moves to like advance your life in some way, or you can just be living the same life with the same job and maybe, I don't know, get a promotion. Like, but for us as queer people, what's gay about a midlife crisis? What is gay about a midlife crisis?
What's gay about it?
And so wait.
What does a gay version look like?
And let me just I want to just one more thing. And so for me at least, being what's gay about a midlife crisis is that we're not as tied to the construct of being, you know, married, having kids. At least my family has definitely dropped those expectations on me, even though they've never pushed that at all. But I just see it as a way like, I could change something that I'm doing. I could make huge. Not that I want to fully go to school, but like if you learn something,
you can take risks.
But you can live things. Even if you have to relearn something new, like between 1 and 3 or 4 years, like in your early 40s, like you still have a lot of life to live if you've learned a new craft.
Lifelong learners is what they call it.
Yeah. So what's a midlife crisis? What are you experiencing?
Well, I remember when the pandemic started and it cut off the end of the Aladdin tour, and I had just done my first season at Radio City, so I had like this plan to go to New York, and I had this idea of what that transition was going to look like, which of course was completely thwarted. And while most of my friends in music were like, there was a lot of devastation, there was a lot of like hearing things like I was on this path and now this has been taken away from me, like a lot of like very dramatic sentiments about that feeling. I mean, I certainly missed performing 8 times a week. Suddenly that was like a blaring transition in terms of like the silence, you know, after like so much hype. But I remember thinking, wow, we're all stepping into a void together. And I've been saying, like, you know, I paid off all my student loans on the tour. I bought a French bow. I bought a computer. I was like, I with these intentions of learning music production. But it's like so much of a mindset shift because I started playing violin when I was 4.
It's a long time.
It's a really long time.
That is your entire
so
life.
Many things wrapped around it in terms of like your identity, your relationship to your daddy, me.
Well, that's specific.
I think I have so many things wrapped up into it and the identity of it, and it was like, how am I going to release myself from all of these things? Because they're just ideas, they're just stories. You know, you were where you were, you did what you did, you were just a child, and then you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm an adult, I have autonomy, I have skills, I'm intelligent, I have coping mechanisms. Like, I can make, there's actually a lot of choices available to me, especially because I'm tall and white, and like, where can I go that I can show up and be like, I definitely 100% want to be here, and I can take my talents and skills and be like, really live in the ownership of them in a way that feels good to me. And I think having been in the classical system, and I was using it for specific, very personal reasons, and, you know, I got into it for whatever reasons, you know, an idea of what I thought that the value of that life was. And when I was experiencing it, I actually was growing apart from it. I could feel myself. And a lot of that was like, my partner didn't work in classical music. If I had partnered with somebody who did, I probably would have continued to do this onto it as a culture, as like a niche that it is. But because my partner's life and work is so far from that and has like global reach, it felt like, oh, I can look at a bigger picture here. I can do something different, but
You want more?
I do want more, but I have to have different skills. I think for me, and all of this
life pivot.
Life pivot. It's a very big, it's a life pivot. And so there was this void in the pandemic where it was like, what are we going to do with this time? I mean, there's two things. My dad was clearly dying, you know, not of COVID, but of, you know, life was coming to an end for him. And so that was a moment where I was like, oh, I can actually be extremely present with you here. Because there's no work for me to be doing out in the world. I'd been on tour for 3 years, so I'd basically been ignoring that relationship. And then the other thing was like, now I can you know, big gulp, try and learn this completely. I mean, on the surface it's like, oh, make music. It's the same. But I mean, I'd never learned a computer program. I'd basically been living my life by candlelight with an 18th century violin. I mean, I didn't have a facility for technology, and I had all these ideas in my mind that were given to me from the culture I was raised in. It's like, you should fear technology. You should, you know, and there's a lot to unpack there, right? With AI taking off, and you're just like, what does this even mean? And but to me, the tool has been there for a long time, actually. This synthesis and making music on computers and everything, you know, everywhere you are, you hear music, and that music was made on a computer. Everywhere you are, 100% of the time, you hear music. All of the music that you're hearing, it exists through a computer. Just the fact of it.
Once digital came around.
It's digital. Yes. Now, that's what I'm talking about. That's the world we're in.
Post-analog. Yeah.
That's the world we're in. And so to ignore that as like the most immediate form of connection to an audience and growing an audience just seemed really dumb. But then taking it into your own hands and being like, I have this tool. I can record myself. I can manipulate my own sound. I don't have to like sell my sound to somebody else and then they do what they want with it. I can actually like take my sound and do what I want with it and build a whole world. And maybe it's not even about that. Maybe it's like, now all these sounds are available to me. And that's also something, because I was just too focused. But the violin was very specifically
So how is this
given to
how
me.
is this solving is this a part of your midlife crisis journey?
Oh, I mean, the life pivot. But that's what I'm saying. And it happened from a void. That's what it meant to me. It was like, oh, 40 is coming. And by the time I get to 40, I want to have changed my mind about this and this and this and this. And like, to say that you want to do that and then to do it, you know, and how you work those two things together into alignment, I would say, has been like the major project. So, and you know, and so I continue to work as a violinist in the city. And because I want that network, I want that community, I want to create work for that community in conjunction with that community as it exists. I want to understand the structures that exist now and then like really work to imagine a different kind of model and a different kind of relationship to our craft. I don't know. Yeah, it's like, it feels kind of megala sometimes.
What is it?
Like, just, what's the dream, you know? But I don't know, you know, because I've lived in so many dreams. You know, when I was in the pit for Sweeney Todd, and I was there as a sub, but that was, to me, the highest level execution of the art form of musical theater. Sondheim, 32-piece orchestra on Broadway. And whether you liked him as Sweeney Todd or not, Josh Groban, I grew up listening to. Everyone in Utah loves Josh Groban. And that as a form of, like, fulfillment, you know, what's like, fulfillment. And I couldn't not, like, go, like, oh, into the back, you know, like, did it, you know. But, and the way that I had the gig, like, the person who gave it to me and how much I have admired how they've navigated their career. And so there was just, when those moments happen. And then I worked with a rapper very specifically because I made a mixtape of Sweeney Todd while I was performing that musical all the time and studying this other medium. And so there's this, like, line of, like, synchronicity that kind of continues to turn when you're like, oh, this is a dream, this is a dream. But the idea that I have one dream and I'm going to go to New York and live in it, you know, just as a static idea and as a singular is inaccurate. I think dreams continue to happen. Like, having a friend like you know, is like when we make stuff together and I'm, like, living in a dream moment and you just, they percolate all around you, you know. So just continue to, well, what else? How else can I be really present and excited about what I'm doing? You know, and do I have the courage? That was the other thing. Do I have the courage to walk away from a good situation if it's not in alignment with, like, where I feel in connection with my joy? I don't know.
Usually I say...
That sounds really corny.
We've been making changes is the point. We've been making some changes. We've been trying to evolve a little bit. Doing this, which is setting up lighting, is a skill in itself. Yeah, not that I'm saying it's amazing anyway, but...
She knows how. Oh, to be a content creator, and is there value in that? Is there...
With 100%, I'm not gonna... There's no doubt that there's value in... That could be answered, but there's plenty of people that could say that there's value in content. Like, the point of that content is more about...
I really prefer content about content about content. That's my favorite content.
Yeah. So I think after our first take, we're gonna record this and we're gonna do a reaction to our to our podcast. That way, and then we're gonna watch someone watch our reaction to our first reaction, and then we're gonna react to them reacting to us. Yeah. I think that's a piece of music.
Oh, that's like content. Performance art. Yeah, no.
Well, that's what I hate about making content about your content, sewing videos, sewing videos, long format sewing videos, essays.
Like, doing the thing should be enough.
But no, it's more about putting you got to put it out there, and you got to put it out in, like, you got to put things out. You got to present them in a format.
We're in the Matrix. We're entering the Matrix today.
If you don't put things out there, no one knows it. If a tree falls, like, no one will know if that. If a leaf falls, does anyone hear it? No one hears it.
Right, no one hears it.
So it's irrelevant.
When you're a performer, the only thing that matters is that people hear you.
Well, that's literally the only thing. That's like your one job.
Your one job was
which unfortunately on Broadway, you're not always turned up in that mix. So you might be playing and 95% of the time you are not heard.
Or they don't play. You're sitting with a stand partner and you literally can't hear them. You're like, are you doing that on purpose? I like playing. I want to play the violin. I want to play. Like, when I'm given a gig, and that's also, like, to, you know.
Well, you're a soloist, and I'm a soloist. I mean, like, but the thing is, I've never understood how, like, violin.
I kind of am. I've spent way
you
too
told me
long
how, like, it's almost, like, shamed upon if you act like a soloist. I understand as a section violinist, like, the point you're supposed to blend as a choir.
Yeah.
But, like, as a wind player, you're always taught to just be because you're in the orchestra, you have to be a soloist, but No, because no one's. I mean, you can make obviously a living in a wind band, a military wind band,
We love
but
those
you don't
things.
really. You're not really hiding there either.
Hiding. I felt like I was hiding. Every time the solo artist would come in my orchestra job, and they would look at me and they'd be like, "Honey, you belong up here." And I'm like,
Just like don't be too tall. Yeah, especially if you're just like a guest in the situation.
But I am so tall. I am so tall. I felt like my feathers were coming out of my tuxedo. And but it was like, I don't know. And so that's where I come in really swinging with the EP, is like, I go for that, you know. Like,
oh, you have an EP?
Oh, she do. Mm-hmm.
This one got an EP.
Yeah. That was my pandemic project. I started the pandemic.
We all had
bought fresh Ableton and was like, I'm going to make a 5-track EP.
So
yeah, this is going to take me a few months. I got this.
Sewing was my pandemic project. And so a lot of things came out of sewing for me.
Yeah.
And you're just about finishing an album.
I am. So it took 5 years, and of course, in honor of that, there is a Björk cover that I did with bass and drums in a very punk rock style, and it's called 5 Years. So that's part of the joke of it.
I actually didn't know what.
Yeah.
That's the album. I didn't know that. That album's called 5 Years?
The album is not called... I don't know what the album's called. I could call it 5 Years. I was going to call it Dare or Dare You. Maybe, because Dare You to Love Me is in the middle, and everything kind of like... You go down to that.
Dare you to love me.
Yes, just like that. She's a banger. A sad banger. But that was it. I had like a very clear idea of the shape of it, and I had the idea of Ocean Song and Dare You to Love Me, and then the other tracks came much later. But I knew the center of it was in that juxtaposition.
And for you classical music lovers, there's a lot of referencing of classical music.
Yes.
Because obviously we are post-classical here.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but it's always a part of our roots. It's always our past religion. It's always there. And I have a deep, I mean, I'm not trying to be like, bye, bit. I just like, and I always will appreciate it.
Well, to me, it's kind of like that Finding Forrester or the like, write about what you know. You know, I have been entrenched in this world and not like against my will. Like, I loved so many things, so many moments, and so much of the repertoire in the canon. And so I just got to the point too where I was like, I wish I could recontextualize this, you know? And I think that was listening to hip hop music and how they sample other songs. And the art form is in the sample. It's the choice of the sample. It's the historical journey that you're inviting your listeners to go down through making that reference. And then they're like, oh, I want to know more about this. And then it opens all these little like nerd doors. If you choose to go down them. And if you don't, and it just is a good bop, and you're like, I don't care what you're referencing, that's fine too. But that intellectual layering is so important to me. I can't let go of it. It's like the most conservatory and like intellectual thing about me, I think, is that I'm like, if I don't have my references, then I don't know. It's kind of like making my patchwork quilt. Like, those are all the different fabrics, and I'm taking these pieces and I'm sewing them all together. And we're just in this endless mixture.
So I feel like the COVID actually kind of made everyone have a midlife crisis.
Maybe. I think a lot of people made big decisions. You know, they got married or they broke up. They had a lot of COVID babies happen.
Pets. I almost got a Pomeranian. I almost got a Pomeranian from Thailand.
You were so close.
I was so close, but that's a whole other story for another day. But I learned to sew, and I created historical garments and a sour gummy channel. Oh, which reminds me, I think I want a little treat. I want to share a little treat with you today.
Yeah, you got some snacks.
I feel like I've taken a lot. Like, you've shared a lot of snacks with me that I just eat in my day-to-day life. Mostly because of the protein.
Chips and cottage cheese.
I love
That's what you're talking about?
Chips and cottage cheese. We will get there at some point.
Yeah.
But I also just love how much like veggies you incorporate into your diet. But today I don't got veggies. My snack of the day is, I'll be right back. Trying and rating Jolly Ranchers sour gummies. Okay. Oh my God. It's like you're a guest.
I know.
It's like
I know.
you're a guest in my sour candy gummies, and I'm probably not gonna edit this that much because I am usually really bad at talking, and I edit the shit out of my videos.
Wow, that smells good. What's the flavor description?
There's a lot of options. It's cherry, watermelon,
all the red stuff, all the red dyes.
all the red berries.
Red dye. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, different colors.
Red cherries.
Let's see if I can get all of them in one hand.
Is that a pumpkin? Oh, this is tasty.
She looks like a
Tomato. A bear claw.
tomato.
Oh, awesome reds. Cherry, pomegranate, watermelon, fruit punch, strawberries. Oh, this is very addicting.
Yeah, it's very Jolly Rancher. I feel like I'm sucking on a Jolly Rancher, but I get the chewy instead of the crunchy that gets stuck on your teeth.
But
Jolly stuck on your teeth in a different way, obviously.
These are it has that Jolly Rancher flavor, which whatever that means. Like you can really explain it by
Branded.
that brand. Yeah, it doesn't have like Skittles.
There's a juiciness to it. The way you slurp, trying to talk and chew at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because they're juicy. They're literally juicy.
It's so juicy. How tart are these to you? Out of 10.
Well, like a 6, maybe. They seem really comparable to Sour Patch Kids.
Right.
That's
and
what it reminds me.
Do you think Sour Patch Kids are?
Texturally, it's the same flavor profile, but the Jolly Rancher, it's like, no, that's a flavor I've only experienced with the hard candy rolling around in my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. 6. I think they should rename Midlife Crisis to like Life Pivot. Second chapter. New era. I mean, they've kind of already, right? New eras. Your new era.
This is a meme that was like that childless aunt with her crystals talking about her next,
And I don't like
chapter, and I died. I was super dead.
I don't like it's how it's like suggested that because like you want to make a change, you're like it's like discouraged, or it's like, oh, he's just having in a mood right now and he wants to just like change everything. I think you're allowed to change.
No, I got to the point where I was like,
we as gay people have the power, have the time,
we have the time. We have
the lack of kids to make those changes in our lives, and that is very fortunate.
Listen, I don't want to say that people with kids can't make changes. It's just that your decisions impact another human being, and you have to hold that all the time, and that is a responsibility that I have avoided.
Like these titties.
Even. Yeah.
Follow for more. Where can we find you?
Like, subscribe.
QWEENJD.
I wanted to say that on my headstone.
QWEENJD. When did Phil?
When did Phil?
Bye.
Yeah. Do something different. Yeah, no, I've experienced that feeling that, oh, you're different. Great. The resentment.
What's wrong?
Like, oh, yep, you're being different.